Welcome to another live edition of Making You a Bartending Pro. I'm Jason, and we will wait a few minutes. YouTube's lagging a little bit. So how are y'all? Oh, stream quality is bad. Hang tight for a second, it will get better. So, welcome to another live edition of Making You Bartending Pro. I'm Jason, moderated by my man Shake here. We do these every Tuesday, 7 p.m. West Coast Pacific Standard Time, United States. 7, 8, 9, 10 going across the country. And talk about bartending, usually, but we can talk about anything. No format, just open, or no agenda, just open format Q&A. So cheers, y'all. Good to see you again on another Tuesday. I say that? Ayua? Made it here on time finally? Right on. Glad you could make the stream. Let me see if I can pull this over. Let me make sure you guys are hearing me okay. Volume good? Stuff, yeah? Thanks for coming out tonight. So, how are you? How have you been? Sandeep Chetri, my man Shake, Carbon Casillas, Misha Kish Carter, Eder Alvarez. 2 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon in Australia here. Australia in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Right on. An international show this evening, or morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. We are heading into the 7 o'clock hour of last night for you. Yeah. 10 in Florida here. Yep. Lucas Swag. So how's you guys this week? You guys get any jobs? Any exciting news? Any exciting things happen at bars that you saw that you want to talk about? Not much to report on my side, obviously, since I'm working in a different industry nowadays. So, I don't know. Not really anything exciting that I could tell you about. But yeah, how about you guys? It's all about you. Have you been getting out, knocking on doors? Anybody get a new job? Anybody have any crazy experiences at work? Port Savage, are you planning to finish the bartending school only? Bartending school video, only got 2 videos on it. Which one are you talking about, Portmore? We got a few bartending school videos, and I don't believe any of them are unfinished, so it just depends on what you're talking about. We can grab those links. My man Shake here can grab them for you. So let me know. Or if you have any specific questions about bartending schools, you can feel free to ask those. One thing I wanted to do, actually, I don't want to install a new software for my computer right now. No, thank you. Notifications. I wanted to answer a question that we had on the Instagrams. This came from Gonzibonzo. Said, question about bartending school. I was bartending in DC for a year. Now I move in LA. I moved to LA, found a national bartending staffing company that while you are on training in their office, you get a certificate and they get you a job while training and refer you to bars, clubs to get a job. They have a solid review. I don't need training, just need a job. Cheers. $400. So, my initial reaction, Gonzi Bonzo, if you already have experience, then you don't need to do this. You definitely don't need to pay $400. I would say the only thing you need to do is go knock on doors. In LA, you have no shortage of doors to knock on. Just get out there and start pounding the pavement and make a list, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 bars. Go drop resumes at every single one. Follow up with as many of them as you can once a week for a month. Cut that back to once every 2 weeks for the next month. Cut that back to once a month after that. And I guarantee you within 3 months or less, probably much less, you'll have a job in LA, especially if you have experience. There's just way too many spots and way too many. That's the thing about when you're jumping into this with these big markets is, yeah, they're more competitive at some of the like pristine high-end spots in like the prime downtown areas, but there is so much urban sprawl around these massive, especially LA. I mean, that city just goes on for town after town and city after city. So there's no shortage of places to go hit and knock on doors and follow up. Because basically all these guys are going to do, they're going to give you a certificate that's going to be completely worthless because you already have experience. And in California, there's nothing that is required to do the job. You can get a responsible serving certification from Alcohol Beverage Control, the ABC, down there. You just look up when they're doing a class. If you want, you can pay for a tip cert, but it's better to get one from just the Alcohol Beverage Control because then you don't have to pay for it. At least when I did it, they weren't charging it. I don't think they charge. Maybe they do, but anyway. It's going to be pretty reasonable compared to $400 for a certificate that you don't need. And these guys are basically just going to probably tell you to do what I just told you to do, which is go. They might have connections at a couple places. And I don't know. Maybe they are really dialed in, and they'll probably justify that cost because like, oh, we have connections at all these big bars and clubs, and you'll make that back in 2 shifts or something, I'm sure is their pitch. So I don't think you need it, but if you feel like you do and it's easy to afford that, then go for it. But I would say it's not necessary, as with all bartending schools, for sure. Ayua, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, I'm just going to go with that. Worked my way up from working as a barback since last October to recently being promoted to bartender and loving it so far. Congratulations, my mate down in Oz. Good job. Good on ya. Fucking making it happen. One more service. By the way, I'm just starting a course in mixology too, and it's free at cost. Right on. Yeah. You don't have to pay for training. I mean, you got everything on this channel is free. Anything you would need to know or was at a bartending school, I put on here. So definitely, I don't think you need to pay for a training. I have that bartending blueprint course, but it's just for people that want it organized. And I'm actually probably going to make that a donation optional thing at some point anyway. So this thing keeps trying to do updates and I want to do updates. Antoinette Middleton, trying to get a part-time job as a bartender. It's hard. It can be hard at first. Once you get some experience, or once you get into, and if you don't have experience, that's when it's difficult. And that's where you just have to be a little more diligent about going out there and just pounding the pavement. Because like with Portmore, like the mixology stuff, if you want to get into like craft cocktails and all that kind of stuff, that's one category of the bartending world that is very popular at the moment. And so could be beneficial, but at the same time, that's just one sector. And so I don't think, unless you really want to get into that stuff and you want to start to study the culinary arts side of it and matching flavors, and it's more chefing and it's almost like cooking more than it is bartending, and you learn to know the different ingredients and how they interact with each other and flavor characteristics and so on and so forth. And that's cool stuff. But you don't need to go down that rabbit hole to be competent or a working bartender. It depends on the reason why you're getting into this industry. Different people have different reasons. Some people love that. Some people are coming in just to like hustle and make money. Some people are just looking for a part-time gig like Antoinette. So with you, Antoinette, the staffing like party, catering companies would be a good option for you. Because it's kind of like on call, though, it's definitely just a part-time gig. Also gives you some good experience that you can stand on to try to get some other gigs. Nick Maxiv, hang, hiya! Eder Alvarez, seasonal bartending jobs for pool season coming up. For pool season? Bartending jobs for pool season coming up, like summertime? Currently barback trying to make that jump to bartender. Just make sure you tell them, Eder, that that's what you want to do. Tell them like, hey, my goal is to be a bartender. Give me a chance when make yourself a valuable employee. Be diligent, be on time, be punctual, help outside of just doing your role as a barback, but you're like real close, buddy. Real close. So it shouldn't be hard and it shouldn't be long before you can make that jump. Let's see here, making sure I'm not forgetting any questions up top. Remember, if you ask a question, hang tight. I will get to it eventually. Eric Hill. Yo, Jay, what up? Long time no see. Good to see you, buddy. I just rechecked and there are only 2 videos. What are you referring to, Portmore? I'm not sure what videos you want to look at here, my friend. What are you wanting to know? Tell me that. Bartending school video. This whole channel is a bartending school, buddy. There's like 200 and something videos. Truth about bartending. Oh, just that playlist. The whole rest of the bartending school playlist is on this channel. So every single one of those playlists that I have, you should be watching. And you should honestly not be looking at that playlist. You should be looking at the Working Bartender, Bartending Basics playlists. Let me see here. Let me see here. Maybe Shake can grab those. Let me also go over here to see specifically which ones I want to recommend to you to watch. My internet's dragging a little bit. It's probably not helping. So the playlists that you want to watch, I'm gonna Shake grab all these, is that playlist. Portmore is not, I should actually rename it because it's not bartending school, come here and learn how to bartend. It's facts and truth about bartending school and how you don't need it. So the Working Bartender playlist, you need to watch that. You need to watch the How to Become a Bartender playlist, the Working Bartender playlist, Bartending 101, and if you want to nerd out on cocktails and drinks, watch the cocktail drink recipes, but watch the other ones first because bartending is about customer service and customer interaction and understanding your position in the job and how it fits into the business before it's about making drinks. Everybody comes to this and they start with the drinks, and you need to start with the customer skills and understanding what your job is. Your job is to not make drinks. Your job is to facilitate a good time, to create memorable experiences so that people want to come back. And the reason for that is people don't come for the cocktails. I mean, they'll come and they want to have cocktails, but they're not there to be wowed by your knowledge. They're there to have time with their friends or to have happy hour and to just enjoy their time with their friends and the family or whatever. So the cocktail-based thing, bartenders think it's about us. It's not about us. It's about the customer. So start with all those. No worries, buddy. No worries. That's why you're here, man. Start with all these other ones, and just kind of open your mind a little bit to know that this is not about the drinks. You will learn how to make drinks, but that's the easy part. You don't need to know hundreds and hundreds of cocktails to be a good bartender. The bartender that knows 200 cocktails but has terrible customer interaction skills versus the bartender that knows 10 drinks and has fantastic customer skills is going to be a better bartender than the guy that knows 200 or 300 drinks. So watch those, go to the channel, click on my videos, the playlists, how to become a bartender. I'll let Shake grab all these. The working bartender, bartending 101, and then after you watch those, then watch the cocktail drink recipes. And so that is, let's see, 30, 50, that's about 100 and some, that's over 100 videos. So I don't want to overwhelm you, but start with those. And know that the playlist that says Bartending School, which I will rename that maybe in a different way. Also watch the the Alcohol 101, What's in the Bottle videos, because that gives you a little bit of a basic fundamental understanding about each of the different types of alcohols. And so dig into those playlists, my friend. Okay, cool. And there we go. So hit all those links that Shakes, and just crawl around the channel, right? And you'll start to see, go through the channel on a playlist basis, and it's organized in a way to help you learn the stuff that you need to know for Sheezy, my friend. Okay, yep, got you tackled, dude. No worries. Shaquille Lawrence started bartending today. Congratulations, Shaq. Can I call you Shaq? That's just cool that your name's Shaquille, so I'm gonna call you Shaq. Shaq got a bartending job. So nervous. How did it go? Did you do well? Let's see. Tell us how it went, Shaq. Okay, sweet. Portmore's in Jamaica, by the way. Awesome. So you want to also overlay that with your local laws and regulations. So all of this stuff on this channel, I'm from the States. I've done all my bartending in Southern California, basically. A little bit a few other places, but you know, the bulk of my 15 years behind the bar was in some super busy bars in San Diego, California. So all of this stuff has a slant that direction of working in high volume places and on an American law or regulation framework, right? So if you're living in any other country besides the States, or just even if you're in the States, you need to check with your individual state that you live in, the laws and regulations, because sometimes there's subtle nuances, and in other countries there can be major differences. Not necessarily in like just kind of the customer interaction element, that's kind of stays the same, but just legal hoops or regulations that you need to be up on, make sure you check all that stuff out. And that's usually just as a matter of going to a government website or, you know, a reputable location or source, right? Don't just get it from some random blog, like this is the law. Like look it up on an actual, you know, the actual governing body's website and read it for yourself. Okay, so there we go. Shake's got that. Bartending school, if you can afford it. Yeah, if you're going to bartending school and you can't afford it, don't do that. Only do it if it's easy and it's something that's not going to break the bank for you. Dimas, how do you overcome anxiety to talk to customers? So this, also Dimas, I see you have a question about the POS system. We do have that video. And so Shake, thank you after I, sorry man, fire all that shit at you, buddy. You can grab that POS system video for DMOS. I shot it a few years ago, but it's still completely relevant. The thing with the POS systems is that you got to remember that each bar, you know, there's I don't even know how many systems out there. There's a lot of them, and each bar, depending on where you work, you know, could be a different system. So there is no like one POS system for the industry. It depends on where you work. It depends on what your owner or manager bought and what you're using. But whatever it is, they will train you on it. So even though I've been a bartender for 15 years, I could start at a new bar tomorrow, and they would have, if they had a different POS system than what I was used to, I would have to learn that from scratch. Now, the most of them are pretty simple, and you can kind of just hunt and peck your way around and figure it out. And they're designed to be really simple, especially the newer ones. Some of the older ones I've worked on are super archaic and not organized really well, but even then, once you figure those out, you can figure out kind of the shortcuts and how to be quick and efficient on them. So that's something that they'll give you a lot of training on when you get to the place. So if you're not working somewhere, don't worry too much about the POS stuff. Just know that it's a point of system sale that allows you to put in orders and ring up tabs and give people checks and close them out and do your tip outs, right? So what that looks like will depend on where you work at. So watch that video about just the basics of what a POS system does and how it is. But know that when you get hired anywhere, they're not gonna just like, maybe they will. I mean, they might just go like, okay, your training is you gotta just kind of figure it out. But they'll give you a practice time on it. You know, all those systems, even the really old janky ones, have training modes, so you can go in there and just kind of order shit and fuck up, and it doesn't matter. So you will get trained no matter where you go, no matter how much experience you have. You'll get trained on the system. And even within the systems themselves, they can be kind of customized. So even if you went to 2 different bars and they had the same system, they might be a little bit different. So you'll be trained on all that kind of stuff. So C-Wack, what up? I have to go to work soon. Get out there and kick some ass. Seabass. Good to see you, buddy. Stoked you stopped in for a minute. Cheers, mate. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? Okay, Dima, so get back to your overcoming anxiety to talk to customers. Because that was your first question before the POS. The anxiety thing it'll go away with time, and it'll go away pretty quick. You will have a lot of anxiety, and this is why I have said a bunch on this show and on these live streams that instead of spending money on a bartending school, I would think that it's much more money well spent to spend it on public speaking. I think that all the anxiety and fear that people have coming into bartending, that because of the nature of the bartending schools and just how everybody thinks it's about cocktails and learning drinks and shit, they've been able to take that anxiety and put it into this box of like, the reason you have this anxiety is because you don't know any drinks, so we're going to teach you a bunch of drinks and then it'll go away. But I don't think that's true, because number one, it's not about how many drinks you know, but it's actually that right there, that it's an anxiety about being in front of people and talking to people. So if you can work on your if you can work on your public speaking skills, then that'll help. So depending on where you live, there might be something like Toastmasters, which I don't know if they charge for Toastmasters. If they do, it's pretty minimal. And Toastmasters is just a meeting of people that get together, and that's what they do. They just work on their public speaking skills. So if you're someone who gets really nervous, that if you're in school and you have to talk in front of people, or which is super normal. Most people, this is one of the greatest fears that people have, is public speaking. So it's really normal to have this kind of anxiety when you're going into this bartending gig, because I think it's the same thing. You feel it's that same, you feel like you're on stage and that you have to be entertaining people, and that's not the case. You can just learn how to just have basic general conversations with people. And an easy way to do that is to just ask questions. So instead of just telling, a way to do this is just ask questions. So simple ones. Hey, how you doing today? After this is like, hey, how you doing? What can I get you? Type stuff, right? After you get that sorted and you're kind of floating around and you're trying to talk to people. If you're busy, then you don't have to really worry about it because you're just taking care of people all over the place. But if you have a little bit of kind of hang time where you're talking to people or whatever and you're worried about it, first thing is just when they come in and sit down, it's like, hey, how you doing? Introduce yourself. Say, hey, my name's D. I'm going to take care of you today. What can I get you started? Or my little basic intro for a lot of times is like, hey, how we doing today? Get you a little something to eat, something to drink, throw down a couple menus or a menu or whatever. And then they'll either take a look or they'll know right away. And then you can get it started, or you give them a minute, go do something, come back. And then once you get them dialed in, to start asking them questions, like if you want to just make small talk with people, just ask them questions. Hey, what are you doing? What are you up to today? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? How do you know each other if they're with people? And just asking them questions, and they'll start to just, work today, and got this shit going down, and I'm on my lunch break, and we're just, I hate my coworkers, and I got this damn project, and blah blah blah, and they'll just spew and spew and spew, and that'll give you threads that you can kind of pull from to have conversations about. So, sorry, my computer keeps trying to do updates. I'm telling it to knock it off. So just ask questions. Hey, how you doing? What are you up to? What are you doing today? Where are you going? And that'll give you at least 30, 45 minutes worth of content right there of conversation. So it will come with time and practice, and not a lot of time. I mean, within the first couple of shifts, you'll figure out that this is really simple, easy stuff. And if you're working somewhere that's really busy and that you're worried about that anxiety, that's not really probably going to be a concern when you don't have a lot of experience and you're going to start into a place that's a little bit slower. And so just having a couple of real basic questions that you can go to will help you out a lot. So there we go. Okay, long-winded answer there. Sorry, those of you asking questions. I will try to get caught up here. Eric Hill, got good news. Since I saw you last, bro, got my first gig as a barback. Company called Belcampo. Reach with them online. Let me know what you think. Belcampo. Are they like a staffing service? Belcampo. What? Bartending or something? Or bar? I'll just put Belcampo Bar. Belcampo Meat Co. Belcampo Santa Monica Restaurant and Butcher Shop. Is that what it is? Is that where you're at? Is that what we're looking at? Company called Belcampo. Research them online. Okay, so I'm assuming it's one of these restaurants. If it's a restaurant gig, that's cool. Meat Co. Santa Monica. Right on, buddy. Is this it? Yeah, maybe. Brunch, dinner, drinks. Yeah, looks like they got some drinks. Hard stuff. I like it. Yeah, we got pretty pictures. It's pretty pictures. Let's see, where's their menu? Drinks. Where's their drink menu? Some classic barbecue, old fashioned, Negroni, whiskey sour, dirty martini, daiquiri, margarita, Bloody Mary, mule. It's pretty classic. And they get into some crafty stuff. Looks like. Right on. Full on. Yeah, pineapple gum. Plantation pine rum. Yeah, you're using all kinds of fancy stuff. Crafty craft stuff. Macadamia nut oil. Chocolate chili bitters. That's cool, man. Right on. Good for you, brother. Wait. Right? Yeah, Eric. Yep. Good for you, brother. Cool. Keep us posted how that goes. Looks like a snazzy place. It's a program called Bar Chief. Portmore. Savage said. Okay, subbed. Eric Hill. Pound of the payment, bro. For real. I'm so excited to start, man. Next week. Good on you, buddy. It's what it takes. And that's uncomfortable. And that comes back to that same anxiety of just like going up and talking to strangers. It's the same thing. That you have the same anxiety from that as you do from talking to people at a bar. So it's the great leveler, right? Whether or not you can get out there and pound the pavement or not. Eder Alvarez, ever use liquor guns? Want to know how popular they are outside of my area. Liquor guns, like booze on a gun? Is that what you mean, Eder? I had never used one of those. I've seen like pre-mixed cocktails. I worked at a place where we like made so many margaritas that we would pre-make our house, just the basic margarita, in like giant, 15 gallon tanks, and they would come out of a little gun. But we made them, and I have seen places that have cocktails on tap, like in Vegas and fucking what's it called, Nolans down in Louisiana. Just big, huge party places where they're just like massive amounts of people coming through and drinking whatever. But I have never worked with them myself. So you work with the tools that you got. It doesn't really make anything. It doesn't make a difference. There is no bartending gig that's better than the other one. Aside from if you're making better money, obviously, then that's cool. But the nuts and bolts of the actual job, it's like whatever you're doing to do the job, then that's what you're doing. So it's cool. Portmore Savage. I actually start today, so I got no idea what to do. Watch all those playlists, man, and then don't start with the drinks. Don't try to start writing down and memorizing drinks, Portmore. Go to those other playlists, like the Working Bartender playlist and the Bartending 101 playlist. The How to Become a Bartender, that one, you already got the job, so don't worry about that one necessarily. I mean, go through there and look and see if there's any videos that look enticing to you, but definitely watch the Bartending 101 and the Working Bartender playlist. Laz Strongheart, thank you for sharing your experience. I enjoy your vids. Question: I'm starting my study into bartending to become a bartender. My study into beginning as a bartender. How does age play into it? I'm a fit, attractive 66-year-old lady. Is there hope for me? Of course, Laz. So it gets a little more nuanced as you get a little bit older, beyond just like your 20s and 30s and shit, right? Which is your kind of typical bartending age. The trick is kind of matching your age, and this is true in any phase of your life with most jobs that you're going after, I think, in my opinion. But especially in bartending, is to try to kind of match your age to the typical clientele. We'll just keep this within bartending, right? So within the industry, it's going to be not impossible, but it's going to be very difficult, or more difficult, I should say, for you to get a job at like the banging club in fucking downtown that's just packed with 21 and 22-year-olds that are just out, doing shots 100 miles an hour until they black out. But there are other establishments where the clientele is more mature, like hotels, fine dining is where I would really look. But those are also great because fine dining is actually where you can make fantastic money, and is where I recommend people that really want to do this for a lifelong career are eventually going to angle towards, because that's an environment where you can work and be past 35 or whatever years old, and it won't seem like it's not really a match, right? Like, if I walked in to like some just banging fucking club with like a DJ and there's like the whole floor is bouncing and there's crazy lights going and and everybody in there is like under 30 years old and I saw you behind the bar, first of all I would think that is fucking awesome that she's in here and it is totally possible, but at the same time it would be unique. So you got to think about where the clientele is going, like where are the places that you go with your friends? Those are the places and the types and styles of places that you want to be focusing your energy on when you're trying to get a job. So of course there's hope for you. You can do this job anytime in your life. You just have to be a little more strategic as you get older. And is the other side of the coin with that is that if you're very young and new in this industry, even if you have 4, 5, 6, whatever years, if you're still under 30 years old and you try to walk into a fine dining place where the people there have been there for a while, it's going to be really hard to muscle your way in. Like if their clientele is a little bit older and they're more mature and they're used to a knowledgeable person, not saying that you wouldn't be knowledgeable, but just from perception reasons only, which is completely wrong, and most of the time we make the wrong assumptions about people, but it is what it is. So you want to try to match your age to the clientele that is coming into the establishment that you're applying for to have the best chances to try to get a job. So usually this is just a matter of think about where do you go with your friends and family when you go out. Those are the types of places you want to go. Okay, Portmore Sandwich. So basically I need to improve my customer service skills. Well, it's just being aware of that stuff. All right, cool. Let's see here. Demas, currently a server. Right, where are we at? Oh, I missed a bunch up here. Sorry, guys. I will catch up. Eric Hill sipping on Knob Creek right now, celebrating. Cheers, Eric. Portmore, can you raise your volume a bit louder, please? I will try. It's up all the way, my friend. I'll just try to talk louder. Let's see if I can put something right here so it'll bounce the sound a little better, maybe. Actually, homemade old fashions, Eric. Nice. My computer is at max right now. Gabriel Hernandez, how do you feel about a bartender that doesn't drink? I think that is a very safe position to be in, because once you get into this industry, you will realize that most of the people in this job drink a lot, and they're problematic. It's problematic for their health and their quality of life, which bleeds into their job. So I think not drinking for anybody is the healthiest way you can be. You can be knowledgeable and not drink. Just because you don't drink doesn't mean you can't be a good bartender, for sure, if that's kind of the basis of your question. Demas, should I create a fake resume in order to get a job? Shake, piece of shit. No, point of sale. Should I create a fake resume in order to get a job? You don't need to make a fake resume. I think what you're meaning is, should you lie about your experience in order to get a job? And I'm not telling anybody to do anything unethical, right? But you got to do what you need to do to get a job and survive. And I know that probably over half of the people that I worked with during my career got their start from lying about their experience on the resume. Now you got to be careful with this, right? You want to just fudge that a little bit, enough to get you a job, but don't be lying to the point that you're going to get a job in a bar that's way over your head, because you will immediately be found out as a fraud, and depending on the management and ownership, you will probably, or could be, fired right away. Now, sometimes it's kind of like, well, you're in here now and you're doing an okay job, so no big deal. Sink or swim kind of a thing, right? And if you're watching all the videos on this channel, then you'll have a pretty good shot of making it happen So no worries. Do what you got to do, D. That's your own question that you need to answer. But I'm not going to judge you. And I know that a large percentage of people that get into this industry because they fudge the truth about how much experience they have. You don't have to drink. You just have to know how they taste. Portmore Savage says. I don't think that's true. I mean, you can give a little like straw taste, but if you have your amounts down right and everything, then you know it's not a big deal. I've worked with a few people that don't drink, so I disagree that you need to know how they taste. If you're making them right, it's good to just give a little kind of couple of drops. I mean, if you like some religious reason or personal reason why you don't like to do it, then don't worry about it. You can figure it out. DMOS, currently server, but bartenders make more money than us because the bar gets slammed at time. The dining area does okay. Just kind of the nature of it. Sometimes that's the way it was. Like in my place, sometimes, a lot of times the bartenders are making more, but there were certain times of the year where the servers were making as much or a little bit more sometimes. How are you gonna taste them if you don't drink? You don't have to taste them. Don't worry about it. You need to know what each drink type just in case you make a mistake. If you don't like to drink, then nah, I think you're off on that one, Portmore. So I've worked with a few people that don't drink, so you can taste the mixers and you can have an understanding of how sweet or whatever, astringent or sour or bitter or whatever the flavor is that you're going for in the modification of the drink. And you can also just have people around you, your coworkers, taste them for you, right? So you can say, hey, I made this, taste this, does this taste good? If you made it right, bang, make it like that every time. There you go. You don't have to taste it. Get somebody else to taste it for you. Dale Carnegie is good for public speaking. Yes, he is. And to get people to like you and influence them. Hey, 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 it's all about the cocktail. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Mr. Dale Carnegie. One of the most popular and useful for this type of stuff books you can read. That's a good call. I should actually start recommending Carnegie's book. That's a good call. There you go, Gabriel. You got my 2 cents. I don't agree either. There's always a way around something. Yeah, apparently it's a restaurant / butcher shop. Gotcha, Eric Hill. Cool. Nicholas Earns. Hey, man. Currently at my desk job. About to put in my 2 weeks. My friend is a bartender at TGI Fridays. I'm a student at a university. I'm looking for a new job, not a desk job. Yeah, if you're at uni, man, it's too early to have a desk job. Unless it's like, you know, your dream industry or, you know, hey, whatever. As a young person, you got to take what you can get. I know that. I remember those days. Look at the service industry. Look at jobs other than bartending that you can start in, preferably bar back, and then you can work your way in. And you can also get a sense for the types of jobs that you want to do. Maybe you want to be a server. Maybe you want to be a cook. Who knows? But check out the playlist that we've linked earlier in this thing, Nicholas, or Nick, I'll call you Nick, if that's cool. There's a couple of good playlists that we put up earlier. Point of sale systems, alcohol 101, how to become a bartender. That's like how to get a job. Bartending 101 and the working bartender playlists. Check all of those out. Fantastic stuff. So all you guys, anytime you're on this channel, if you're looking for stuff, start at the playlist because I've organized them to have, you know, the stuff that you need to get straight to getting a job. That's the whole point. Honestly, the drink recipe videos are what I put up just because that's what kind of draws people to the channel in the first place, because everybody always thinks that's what it's about. But the meat and potatoes of this job is not. It is more about customer service. So that other stuff gets into all the kind of other nuts and bolts of it. So anyway, let's see here. Alex Osler. Hey man, love your videos. Important to thank you, sir. How important do you think it is to know the flavor, IBU, etc. of the beer at your bar, so that when customer asks for something like whatever, you know your shit. You should always know what is in your house, Alex, for sure. Knowing the specific IBUs, unless you're at a place that's like a tap house or a microbrewery, or you are pouring a lot of those types of beers. I've never had anybody ask me like, hey, what's the IBU on that IPA? You know, it's like, I don't know, it's pretty hoppy. So you can kind of figure it out. But you definitely want to know anything that's on your menu for sure. Anything that you serve in your place or is on your menu, you definitely want to know your shit. Outside of that, it's up to you how much you want to just kind of nerd out on all this stuff. Any tips? So Nicholas Earns, any tips for a guy with no experience but interested? Absolutely, buddy. Go look at all those playlists up above. Eric Hill. They're 100% organic. That's what's up. I'm a chef first always. Nice. Good job, Eric. I hit up more than that, but I mean, I don't always follow up. There's just so many jobs hiring out here for bartender. A lot of people want to know where you live. Right now, I just keep putting in apps until somebody bit. There you go. I think you're in, where was that? Santa Monica, Southern California. People, they're hiring all over the place. Portmore Savage, I know it's a mixology program, so I gotta follow the class. Yep, absolutely. Jake Brown, why does the Long Island iced tea have such a bad rep? Just because it's kind of a, you know, the mixology people would call it kind of a dirty cocktail, or I don't know what the term is nowadays, but they just kind of sling together a bunch of shit, and it doesn't have a lot of in-depth flavor characteristics. So the current in vogue style is all about flavor characteristics and spectrums and interactions and the culinary art side of it. So that's just kind of a quick and dirty, get you hammered. Even though all we're doing is making alcohol palatable, for some reason, one that does just kind of a mellow flavor spectrum and gets you fucked up doesn't have a good reputation. It's also a little bit of a either really heavy problem drinker or rookie drinker type of drink. There's not a lot of kind of in between. The people that drink Long Islands are usually one or the other. You're either just a problem alcoholic, you know, and of course I'm just wild stereotypes here, so I don't mean to offend anybody. I do apologize. But you generally tend to be the people that drink these a lot are just heavy drinkers, or people that are just kind of young in that early phase of like going out and partying and getting wasted. So those two types aren't necessarily of the sophisticated people that some of the crafty circles tend to fancy themselves, and for their purposes will kind of look down their nose at those types, which is completely wrong, but that's kind of the way it goes. I like them. I've had a few. They're a good time. Definitely. I say you can't taste the alcohol as easy in other drinks, so you're prone to get more drunk than that really is. Yep, absolutely. Come on now, Gabriel. Be nice. Be nice. We're all just learning here, buddy. Nobody's smarter than anybody else. I actually meant like it, yeah. Jake Brown. Wait, hold on. You guys are putting in comments. I'll get to them. I will get to all your questions and comments, I promise. Wow. I'm coming up on the hour quick here. Jake Brown. True, but there are more than just Long Islands. You can taste. Let Shake get that. Evtisha Verikaki. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name there. Which bar makes more money? Restaurant bar, hotel, seasonal bar. What do you think? I'm going to school now. I've always been a fan of the restaurant bars. Obviously the ones that make the most money. Volume equals money. So the places that are doing the most volume, that's where you're making the most money. So the places that are busy, you're gonna make the most money. Now, sometimes you can work at really busy bars though. If the clientele is really young and they're not savvy to tipping procedures, and I don't know where you might be in the world, then that might not be the case, right? Let me give you an example. Pacific Beach in San Diego, California is this bar area in kind of mid-county, North County Beach that is notorious for young people, right? This is where the college kids all live, and your average age of people going out is probably under 25. And most of those are very early 21, 22, 23-year-olds that are not making a lot of money, so they're not real, the reason why they probably don't tip very well. But that area, the bars are notorious for being just super fucking busy. You make good money, but for the amount of work that you're doing, you're should be making more. And it just comes down to the clientele that's there is very young, and they just don't tip very well. You know, they'll come in, they'll buy a round, they'll tip you $1 one time, and then every other time they come back, they're like, I already tipped them once, and then that's it. So, right, it depends, but generally volume equals more money, right? So that's what you want to look for. Eder says, pouring the heavier full bottles messes with my wrist sometimes. I had tweaky wrists in the past from sports. Ever had this problem? Advice. Yeah, you can rock some wrist guards, and then just make sure that you're not cocking your wrist like this. Make sure your wrists are locked like that. So you're rotating, so you're not doing this like with your wrists, like being all tweaky and weird. Like, don't pour from your wrists, like twist from your up here with your arms, which is just kind of weird random stuff. But or you can kind of hold and sort of do your pouring more with your elbows a little bit. Just kind of practice that a little bit until you find something, because your body's going to be a little bit different than mine or anybody else's. Let's see here. The view is short. Sometimes you get specific ways, blah blah blah. Yep, you guys are talking about Long Island still. Nice. Sparky, I think it's a restaurant bar. That's what I preferred, was the restaurant bars for sure. Just because the hours aren't too late. If it's a busy restaurant, you're gonna have built-in business on the regular. People are eating, so it helps your tabs. It cuts out the fact that you're gonna have a really young, kind of super cheap clientele. And that was my preferred style personally. I went to the nightclub for a short time, but it was just the hours were way too late. Couldn't do it. Last Strongheart, cutting off customer who has had too much. How do you communicate this? So we got another video about this. If Shake didn't already put it up, we can maybe grab that, Shake, if you could, for Laz here. But my favorite technique, which I might have actually articulated a different style in that video, but what I do is I give them a pre-warning. So you can see it coming, right? You can see, unless someone's on pills, right? That's where it's kind of a surprise, where someone can go from completely sober, talking normal, if they're taking pills like any heavy opioids or barbiturate type pills, painkillers and shit. If you take a fistful of those and then you have one beer, you'll go from sober to like slurring in one drink. So that's a different story though. But usually if somebody's drinking, you can see it coming. And you can start to tell, like, they have a pretty aggressive pace, and you can start to tell the last couple coming into when you're going to cut them off, like, okay, this person needs to be done. And so what I'll do is the drink before I would cut them off, meaning if I would give them this one, but I would not give them the next one, when I give them the one that is cool, like, okay, this is the last one I'm willing to give them before I cut them off, I tell them, I'll be like, hey, man, this is going to be the last one I can give you for a while, so we're going to have to slow your roll after this. So you have a drink that's full, so they're not mad, and they know that that's the last one that they're going to get. Now, this I find works much better than if you gave that person a drink, they drank it, and then they tried to order another one, and then you're like, nope, sorry, can't have any more. If you give them a warning with a full drink, that is a much better scenario and a much easier let down for them, that they don't have to really worry about it. And they'll know, you know, most of the time people know, they're like, yeah, okay, I know, probably should wind it back a little bit. But sometimes they don't, and sometimes they don't understand, and that's just part of the not fun part of this job. Is cutting people off is one of my least favorite things to do. But yeah, that's my favorite technique, was to let them know ahead of time. And if you're worried about them being aggressive towards you, you can tell the manager ahead of time and let them take responsibility. Meaning they don't have to go do it, but you can be like, hey, this is the last one I can give you for a while because my manager said we have to kind of slow your roll here, right? Because now it's not us. It's not our fault that we're doing this. And we're giving them one more drink with a warning that they can't have another one. So that'll go a long ways to keeping you out of trouble. Shake. You can get a small wrist brace. Yep, there you go. Cool. Compression wraps. S.L.E. Campo, thanks for the book. Oh, thoughts on the book, 12 bottle bar. Don't know, man. Never read it. Couldn't tell you. Went through my whole 15-year career without reading a single book. Eric Hill, I'm in New York. Jake Brown, what would you say a decent tip is generally? 20% if you have food on the tab, and if you're just kind of doing one-for-one ordering, then like $1 a drink. Now, if you go up and order a big round of drinks, say you order 10 shots and 10 beers for your friends, you know, or whatever, and that's like 20 drinks, you don't need to tip them $20. You can give them half that, so like $10 on 20 drinks or something, right? You know, kind of $1 per drink, but if you're ordering a lot, you can kind of cut that down in half-ish, right? Or you can do the rough 10% or you know, whatever. You kind of figure out your own system. But food tabs, definitely 20% is good. 15% is like, okay, 10% is what I tip people that suck, but I still will tip them. I will never not tip anybody, even if it's the worst service I ever get. They got 10%. Just because I was in the industry for so long and I have, you know, karma, guilt if I don't. Let's see. Mark Vilk, how you doing? Are there some stories you haven't shared about troublemakers where you had to cut off maybe when the bouncer wasn't around? There you go. I kind of just went over that, Mark. Of course, there's always people that are going to be upset about that don't want to be cut off. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. Tell the manager, tell your fellow coworkers that, hey, we're going to have to cut this person off, and this may be complicated or could get problematic. So just make other people around you aware so that they can get your back in case shit gets weird. And try to identify it as early as possible so you can tell them, like, okay, here's the last one, and then we're going to have to take a little, we're going to give you water for a while. And if they don't like it, that's not our problem. They have their own issues that they're dealing with. It's not our problem. So that's a hard one. You just got to not be emotionally invested to the point where it's like, I get that you're upset, but sorry, man. I'm not going to put my job in jeopardy because you're a problem alcoholic, basically. What they're doing when they get upset to the point where they want more drinks, but they're too wasted to have any, and they get mad that you won't give them any, what they're doing is they're putting their drinking over your job. And when you think about it that way, that's when you can get the strength behind you to go like, fuck, no. Sorry, man, you're done. And you always want to be nice, right? You always want to try to be cordial, even when they're being an asshole. You always want to try to be nice about it. Just like, sorry, man, can't do it. Okay, you guys got questions flying in. We're gonna do last call now because we're starting to go past the hour mark. Let's see, where are we here? Shake's got these ones under control. Thank you, my friend. Last call for questions. He's on it. Holy shit, that hurt. I like that handle. Got a job as a bartender over the phone today. Nice. But I have pretty much zero bartending experience. My first day is tomorrow. Which drinks should I study before? So Shake's on it right there. Start with the 15 most ordered. And listen to the caveat at the start of that video. I just made a comment on there. Some girls like, it doesn't start until 2:40. It's like you got to listen to the caveat of those are good drinks to know, but it depends on where you work. Go look at the menu of the place that you're starting tomorrow. Work on learning those drinks first. If you look at that menu, learn those, and then come back and look at the other 15. But I would just work on those for now. And as Shake said, it's going to depend on your location. And then go watch the playlist that we put up earlier, like Bartending 101, Working Bartender. Those are good ones that you should go look at. And just know that it's not a big deal, that unless you completely lied about your experience, then they're going to train you, and it's going to be, there's going to be a learning curve that even if I, with 15 years of experience, walked into a bar, I'm going to get trained for a few days. They're going to show you how to set up and clean and close, and how the computer works, and how to do the books, and how to tip out, and how the opening and closing sequences go. Like, you're going to get trained on all that stuff. They have to. Ayua, tell me how to say your name, man. I'm fucking butchering that. Good to see you. Ayua? My Aussie mate, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Let's see here. SLEO Compo, notification button turned on. Enjoyed this. Thank you. We'll see you again soon, my friend. It looks like we got to the bottom of this. Awesome. Pros calling 913. Do you have a favorite drink to make? I love this one because this gets back to the it's about us perspective, and it's not. It's actually about the customer. So when any customer would ask me what's your favorite drink to make, I would say whatever your favorite drink is to drink. Because it's not about us. I don't have a drink that when somebody orders, I'm like, yes, I love that drink. My favorite drink to make is a fast one. So honestly, if you don't give me direction and you say, make me your favorite drink, I'm going to give you a vodka soda, right? Because I'm just fast and right. And I know that's not the answer that you're looking for. What's my favorite drink to make for myself is different than what's my favorite drink to make for the customer. Because it's not about us, it's about the customers. And so it's just, if you need direction and they're not giving you direction, then you can ask them like, okay, well, what do you normally drink? What are the alcohols you like? What are the flavors that you like? What are some fruit flavors or juices or ingredients that you like? And they'll give you some direction, and then you can kind of go from there. Right? But if somebody's not giving me anything, I'll give them a vodka soda with like a splash of cranberry or pineapple in it. Just something super simple and delicious, and isn't gonna fuck them up and isn't gonna give them a nasty hangover, right? Just something super vanilla. So, holy shit, that hurt. Awesome, thank you. You are very welcome. Mark Vilt, thanks for the stream. Been watching for a bit. Happy to support. Thank you all for coming out, and thank you guys all for coming out and supporting, watching. I know this has been a really long transition period in my life. I apologize for no new videos where I'm like actually shooting and editing them, and they're all just live streams. But these are great because you guys can come on here and just ask questions. So stoked that you guys are all getting good information out of this. You should make a drink called the Dennis Reynolds. All the time. Dennis and Tony Hawk. Those are the two most, those are my popular doppelgangers that people ask me about all the time. All right, you guys, I'm going to cut it there. Thank you all for coming out. Appreciate you showing up. Thank you, my man Shake, for being on top of it, answering questions, grabbing links to all the videos. Remember, you can go back and rewatch this live stream. We'll post to the channel. You can watch this anytime. Feel free to browse through the old live streams. There's a lot of similar questions that you'll see will come up, and you'll realize that this is a very simple thing, that this is more about customer service and getting out there and just pounding the pavement than it is about memorizing hundreds and hundreds of drinks. So work on your public speaking skills, work on just being able to have a comfortable conversation with anybody, and that will go a long way to helping you be comfortable behind the bar. And then after that, in terms of getting the job, just get out there and knock on doors, follow up as much as you can, and you will make it happen. All right, you guys, appreciate it. I'll see you next week, same time. Make sure to follow on all the social media stuff. at Bartending Pro, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.